On all right, everybody, we are here. This is the third episode. We're already at 3. Gosh,
Uh-huh.
we are of episode 3 of 6 of the
Yep.
Dirty Podcast, the Dirty Pleasure Show.
You fucking up the name already. Yes. 30 Pleasure Show.
The Dirty Pleasure Show, in combination with eBlack TV, we are bringing Black sexual taboo topics to the forefront, discussing them, having fun with them, and trying to figure out if we can learn some things. So, salute to everybody that's here. Jay Marie, how's it doing? We have our special guest.
I'm doing good. The special guest, she got the romantic lighting going on and everything. I'm like, where's she at? She's like,
Speaking
I'm
of
on
special,
somebody's. Yeah.
speaking of special guests, we have Lexi Maxwell here, and we also have, like always, Miss Polly
Miss Polly.
is here. Will, our guest, he had emergency, like like most parents do. We got to handle home team first. So his trust me, I know he's gonna hate himself for missing this, but it's okay. Black
I know
will
already. Let's see. That's what
E
I'm saying.
Black will hold down the fort
I
for
know.
everybody.
That's right.
So salute to everybody. We have Lady Nova here, and who's pressing buttons?
That's what I do on my show now. If I see it pop up,
I know you. I
popping it
know,
up.
but
So you don't touch nothing.
yeah, just look. I know it's BDSM, but I'm gonna have to handcuff you. Okay, I'm gonna have to handcuff you. Okay,
Wow.
we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to put some ropes around your arms, and
I'm gonna have to be restrained. I
Yeah.
see. So okay.
So
Let me get my shit together.
oh wow, so salute to everybody that's in the chat. Once again, this is today we're talking BDSM. We're talking BDSM. Lexi, first before we get into that, Lexi, introduce yourself. Tell us what you're about. You know,
I'm Lexi Maxwell. And what do you want to know?
where you from? What do you do? What do you
I was born in
I
New
know
York
you
City.
personally. I know you personally, but and your
I
audience.
know.
You gotta know.
I'm just having a really bad experience with this whole chat with all the docs and all the crap that I'm dealing with. So I'm not
Yeah,
really
yeah.
wanting to put my information out there.
Okay.
I was born
Well,
in
let
New
me
York
ask you
City.
this, Lexi. If you make you feel comfortable, I can try to help. So, like, where are you from in general, and then like, who are you and what do you represent in general?
I was born in New York City. I was raised in northern New Jersey. My parents are both from the Dominican Republic.
Mm.
I speak Spanish fluently. I have lived in South Beach for 8 years. I lived in West Hollywood for 13. And now I am in Scottsdale for 3 years.
Mm.
I first part of my life, I'm 47 years old. So in my 20s, I was a dental hygienist. And then I went and studied theater at NYU, and I was a working actress for 13 years.
Wow. Okay. Let me stop you at 47, though, sis. 47?
Yes, ma'am.
47. You do not look it. I must say that. I must say that.
Well, thank you very much, Jane Marie. I appreciate that, sweetie.
No problem.
Thank you,
I love
lady.
it when I see women in their youth looking youthful, and even at the age,
Yes,
older
I'm
age.
telling
I'm
you,
older,
some of those
but I
20-year-olds
look
look like they 50.
I think the reason why I look youthful is because I've never been married and I don't have children. So
I've been married and I have children.
I've had the privilege to become very interested in self-mastery and mastering myself and making sure that when I leave this earth, I am a great masterpiece. And the BDSM lifestyle and fundamentals allows me the safe space to discover all aspects of myself and give all aspects of myself the opportunity to manifest. And so I don't have to live in inauthentic life. I have the privilege to live a life fully allowed.
Okay, that's dope. That's look.
Deep as shit.
That is look,
man,
like I said, when I invited Lexi, I thought she was the perfect person for this discussion because, like I said, she were much like Miss Polly and a lot of people who I hang with. We were real people. We don't fluff. We do not fake.
because I'm like, where's Will at when you need him? Because we don't fluff what now? We don't fluff.
Lord Jesus.
He would have you. Dang, I can't say that one because that's
Thank
definitely
you, Big
not.
Bad Bull. I appreciate you.
Yeah, so salute to everybody. Like I said, everybody that's here early. Big Bag Bull. He said he was gonna be a member of the Black Pride. Salute to him for that. Lady Nova is in the building. We also have
Oh
my
my
Asia
Asia, this is my
Salora is
folks.
in the building. Big Bad Bull.
Yes.
He said, Lexi Maxwell, relax. Enjoy yourself, sis. You seem tired right
Yes,
now.
smile.
Loosen up.
Beautiful smile.
So yeah, so we're gonna talk about BDSM. You know,
He said, this is
Miss
not a
Polly, Miss Polly gave us a BDSM test, right?
We did.
She did.
So how'd you find it? Explain it to me.
What you
Well,
mean
I
to
already
Miss
took the
Polly?
test.
I
That you
just,
found this shit, first of
one
all.
last thing, just to I've been in the lifestyle for 20 years.
Damn. Okay. So you're our expert on the panel
She
for
is the
sure.
expert. Yeah, she definitely is the expert.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
tell us about the test, and we'll discuss kind of like how our
Yeah.
results.
So the test itself. So like I said, I'm poly, but I do separate myself from lifestylers. But even though that is true, I still hang around a lot of lifestylers because the mindset of being able to have multiple partners is still something that we both agree on. So in that, I do hang around a lot of lifestylers. We run the same circles. So there's a lot of times that, you'll meet certain people, meet masters and all the kinds of things like that. And you can, you might want to open up to that life and try to see what it's about because it's not really just for someone who's poly or someone who's maybe like extreme. It can be also something that you can enjoy with your partner in a monogamous state also. So it depends. So like I said, I found this test probably like I'll give it to a lady named Evo. She has she did like this test and I'm like, okay, well I'll take the test because I was interested in myself too. So I took the test myself to kind of see where I'm at. Um, and that was weird because I'll land this plane. But as you know, I'm poly, but I see more polyandry. And my results are the opposite, which we'll get to later. You would think I'd be different, and I'm not. So it's a really interesting thing to kind of see a little bit more about yourself. So I give a test for you guys to try. And then Lacey can also be here to give you more details and insight on individual things if you guys want to know it. We'll go from there.
And what are we gonna do with the results, Lexi? We're gonna show the results, and you're gonna guess who's who. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Oh
So,
my God, you're too cute. Okay.
all right. This is our first one here.
Okay.
This person has 100% primal hunter, 99% voyeurism, 98% dominant, 97% exhibitionist, 96% rigor, 90% master, 89% owner, 88% daddy mommy, 87% degrader, 97% age player, and so forth, so on, so on. So just by looking at this results and looking at this panel, who do you think describe this type of person?
Well, This person doesn't really seem to like being submissive too much.
Mm.
They like being in control. And this, being a voyeur and an exhibitionist is a very distinguishable thing. I I think it's gonna be Miss Polly.
The answer is wrong. It is my freaky little ass.
Oh, oh, I didn't even think about you, but okay.
Lord,
Well, that makes
crazy.
sense. Yeah, you
So
gave a lot of
Does it?
masculine.
Does
You
it?
gave a lot of masculine master answers. I didn't think about you, but yeah, so that makes sense. So yeah, I could tell that it's not going to be someone who is going to even want to switch or be versatile. It's going to be someone who is purely in a master or dominant state. So good for you, E Black.
yeah, think the
I
one
need to
thing that
see.
I think the one thing that I didn't was surprised me was the brat tamer.
Yeah,
I
What
that's
don't,
is
fine.
that?
I'm a brat. I'm a
yeah,
total brat. So
I
that's
don't.
fine.
I'm not really much of a brat. I don't like. Okay, I like to be more in the leadership department, but
That's
like
what a brat tamer
I,
is.
I like confident people in themselves. I don't like bratty people.
Oh, so
So
bratty means brat. It doesn't, because when I was reading it, I was like, what the fuck is this?
No,
Well,
you're a brat tamer.
brat, what happens is brat is when, for example, in a daddy dom little girl dynamic, if that's the agreement and what you're consenting to, you give the little girl the opportunity to feel safe, secured, cared for, but she's also going to have rebellious moments.
Oh,
And
like a brat.
like
Okay,
a
I got
brat.
you.
okay,
And so in those moments, you reward good behavior and you punish bad behavior. And you have to give that submissive the space to be a brat, because there's a reason why they want to work that out in themselves.
okay,
Um, it's so, you being a father and like being a husband, you deal with that feminine energy of brattiness, or someone who's going to have a temper tantrum, or just like somebody like who needs cuddling and nurturing. There might be even moments when you hold your wife and you just get an energy that she really just became a little girl in your arms, and it's because you allow her a moment to have a cathartic experience and perhaps heal something, in the opportunity that she could take her mind into a space where she can be a little girl, and you can help her process whatever it might be. And if it's not anything that deep, you just give her that TLC that she needs.
okay. I
So,
did not know that about myself.
so here's my question to that. When you said they're working through something, right? I can think about that in a sense of like you're helping someone in some sort of therapeutic way work through something. Because for me, you're first of all, you're talking so educated about this. I'm very silly, so don't take my silliness to be like a disrespect to the BDSM world. But I'm gonna keep it real too. So if a nigga is being bratty to me, you know, I I'm not sure. Um, it, hmm,
Okay, so let's say that, okay, so let's
now,
say, for example, that you're the dominant, and you're with a man, and you guys have an agreement that he's going to be the submissive, and he comes at you with that bratty energy, or you could see it happening, as the person in control, you could anticipate it. So you handle it. You say, you know what, stop what you're doing, go to your room. I'm going to be there in 5 minutes.
I'm not.
And they're like, what the hell is about to happen? And then you get yourself together, and then you go in there and you say, I know what you're about to do, I'm not going to let you do it. If you decide to go ahead and be rebellious and be a brat and have a temper tantrum right now, I'm going to tie you up and I'm going to peg you, and I'm not going to use lube.
I don't
And
deal
then
with.
he'll straighten up, right? He's going to be like, oh shit, that That hurts. I don't like when you peg me without lube. I'm just using an example. And then he might say to you, mistress, my apologies, mistress. If I could have 5 minutes free of openly speaking and letting you know what the problem is. The beauty about BDSM is that it's a very spiritual experience. You can only get to play in the dark side of who you are with a lot of communication and a lot of consenting. You don't get to that space of playing until you have a lot of dialogue. Like when I'm interviewing a master or I'm being interviewed for a submissive position, I usually have like what I call a 90-day probationary period, just like a job.
Lexi, we're going so far.
Sorry.
I know, and I'm just like,
Yeah. She's like this.
Lord Jesus.
my contact about to pop out. Like I definitely can see. I'm like, God damn.
So Lexi, let's get to our second.
He is doing something crazy, but I think it's just.
Let's get to our second one. That was the first one. This is the second one.
I can't see. Okay.
This one is 83% vanilla, 80% switch. What does switch mean? I forgot.
You could be either. Up. You could be versatile. You could be a dom or a sub.
Oh, okay. A 62% exhibitionist, 69% submissive, 63% voyeur, 51% dominant. Now, that's weird. You have 51% dominant, but also 59% submissive, 63% rigor, 31% rope bunny, 28% experimentalist.
These names are fucking crazy to me.
So, looking at these stats, out of the three of us here, who do you believe is this person?
Wow, this is a tricky one because I think I want to say J. Marie. Because I just get like, but I don't know, because I think Miss Polly just right now, she just gives me a little bit of a soft energy, but I could tell that she could be a lot of fun. Okay, I'm gonna go for Miss Polly again. I think she's a switch. I think she could give you both.
Nope. This is.
What you put my fucking picture on the thing?
This is.
Oh, you're so fun then, Jane Marie. You're a switch. How fun are you?
So this was okay. When I noticed this one,
I say these results are interesting though, because I was halfway like, no.
Yeah, you're a switch. You're a switch.
I could see it now because I think it's the independence thing. I think it's the independence thing with her. I think she can be very dominant in whatever she's very driven in whatever she does. She wants. I've worked with her for the last couple of weeks, and she's been like, hey, are we getting this done? Are we doing this? Do you want me to help with this? She takes
a team player.
She's a very team player, but she wants to be the captain of the team. So too, but she does, but she's very cool with it. She's like, okay, well, thank you for helping me. So
just help.
Look at that face. See,
switching left and right.
And obviously, our last person and the person who's you can't miss this answer. So we're gonna give. You obviously know that this last person is going to be Miss Polly.
There we go. We should have did the percentages like that because that shit is hard to see with the colors.
Okay. This is what we're doing.
Okay.
No,
that's that dominant side. See,
I'm saying, see the white and black, the Afrocentric colors is doing a lot for my eyes.
Oh, Lord.
So the 90% submissive, 85% degrading, 75% brat, 74% slave, 71% voyeurs, 62% primal, 61% experimental, 54% non-monogamous.
No,
Monogamous.
non-monogamous. Non-monogamous.
Oh,
Shit.
one thing. I know one motherfucking thing. How did you not know that
Wait,
word?
the next one is a very important.
And 50% vanilla. And then the rest are kind of below 50%. We're not going to
Yeah,
discuss this. So, what is your observation on these stats?
So
I agree.
this is you, Miss Polly?
Absolutely.
Wow, very interesting. You're very submissive that way, huh?
I do agree. I think that a lot of the times I'm not
Wow,
actually.
that's incredible. That's beautiful. God
It
bless you.
is.
That's gorgeous. Yeah, that's really beautiful. It's a beautiful gift to give a man or
Yes.
whoever you decide to give your submissiveness to. And when you get to live in that space, to have what's called subspace and live in that subspace and not have to come out of it. It's a really glorious space when you are a submissive to be able to have the opportunity to live in that space for as long as you can. So good for you.
I'm sorry. I saw somebody's comments.
What day is that? No, you would think that's why I said mine was kind of opposite because most women, I will say, most women who are in polyandry are considered more of a masculine and more someone who's the opposite, more like yourself, E Black. But that's not necessarily mine.
I was actually shocked. You know why? Because I thought there would be a little bit more dominant in you.
Oh, absolutely not. I want someone to tell me what to do all the time. I don't want to do nothing like that. That sounds crazy.
But your situation is a little different. You actually like two men. So for me, saying that you would have to be more dominant over
You
men.
messing up. You messing up. It's Tracy.
Three men. So you would have
Yeah,
to me, you would have to be more dominant over. I would guess that you would have to be more dominant over men.
Yeah, that's what I said. It seems opposite. I'm not. No.
So yeah, I totally pardon the expression pegged you wrong.
Lord pray.
So I want
So,
to kind of, now that I done reached maturity in this conversation of this life,
Okay.
now you caught up. Okay.
I'm saying
Okay.
because I wanted to revisit it. Because first of all, Lexi was like, "That is such a beautiful, glorious," and I'm like, "Wait a minute, I wasn't getting beautiful and glorious." You were like, "Oh, you're fun." So let's go back over where did my gloriousness come in at?
No, I just you know what it is. I'm a switch like you, J. Marie.
Okay.
And when I meet women who are identify like 90% submissive, I just think that's like I wish I could be all the way there. It takes
Okay. That's what I was trying to kind of understand. Like, how
yeah.
is that glorious? I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
because I'm
taking
a
nothing away
brat.
from Miss Polly.
Like I go into a relationship and I am the sub, but
Okay.
I know that I am gonna be like a rebellious teenager. I'm gonna test him. I'm gonna test him, and I do that. And so I need somebody who, like it's like I'm an unbridled horse, and I need someone to tame me. So I require someone who is not gonna be a doormat. Because even though I agree, yeah, because even though I agree to
Yes,
be
I'm
the
sorry.
sub, there's going to be moments that I'm going to want to exercise, a little bit more privilege than I'm entitled to, and so and then sometimes I've been with masters that they sense that I'm kind of like something in me needs to be worked out in a dominant position. So they'll say, you know what, for the next 24 hours, you could be the dom. You be the dominant. And then I have 24 hours to like get it out of my system. Because the moment that I get it out of my system, I just want to go back to being little. I want to go back to being like little, like just get out of my system. I'm done. I'm done acting out. Now I want to go back. I want to, I want to be cuddled, and I want to be pet, and I want a bubble bath, and and I want to be that way. So I know that I don't want to stay in that dominant position for a long time, because like Miss Polly was saying, that she likes somebody who controls. I love it too. It's a freedom in that space when you're with somebody that you trust and they completely take over, and they care about you, and everything that they do is for your best interest. Very, very seldom do some of us in our even our childhood have that privilege to, I was born with a job. You know what I mean? The moment I came out my mom's womb, I had responsibilities. Like, that's just the way that it was for in my childhood. I didn't get to be a princess in my childhood. So now, and I didn't have a voice in my home. So now, as a grown woman, I want to be able to be a princess in my relationship. And I need to also let that person know that there's a rebellious nature inside of me that comes up sometimes, and that will need to be dealt with. So I get punished. I get punished a lot. I've been punished a lot.
Yeah. And like I said, before we get too far along, like I said, I want to
Before the
remind people.
conversation.
I want to remind people. Um, this is grown folk talk. If you can't handle the conversation, feel free to click
Exactly.
off. Go to another channel. Have fun over there. But if you really want to, have a grown folk conversation, this is the place. So, once again, if you're not grown enough to have conversations, if you want to troll, of course, on my channel there will be no trolling. J. Marie, I would hope that you would clean your chat. I just sent you a message, clean your chat. So because
Okay.
so
Let
like
me
I
see.
said, so like I said, we're having a grown folk conversation. If you want to go and argue online about some other stuff, or you want to troll other people, go to those other channels, please. I'm grown enough to have these conversations. You can see we can have fun. We can have some great discussions about people who do stuff in real life. If you're like J. Marie having a vanilla sex, that's fine. No, I'm
We
joking.
all like a little bit of vanilla sometimes. It's nice.
So, but like I said, we're really, we really want to have a grown up conversation. We don't want to be distracted by the chat because, certain people want to,
Oh.
be more a part of the conversation than they think they're allowed to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so let's continue on. So, all right, we got our results. We've been judged for the freaky bastards we are. Uh, and I want to talk about, let's start from the beginning. BDSM. Most people when they hear about BDSM, and I'm gonna let Miss Polly take over. Um, they learn about it from 50 Shades of Grey. Is that an accurate representation of BDSM?
I will say I think it could be a part of it. It's not That's not all it is based on. And that, just like Lexi was saying, a lot of this is trust. Trust.
Mm-hmm.
In the relationship between you giving yourself to someone entirely to the point that they have control over what happens to you. And you know how much trust that takes to know that. So I'm placing my health, you're placing my trust in you to make sure that what we're doing is going to be in a positive place, regardless of what's happening. That includes even the spanking and things like that. So I think, like she was saying, even when it comes down to someone, getting punished, some people like to be punished. Like you saw, I have a little brat at myself. I have a little bit of brat at me, but I act right if you tell me to. But if you don't, I wouldn't say I'm a switch, but like you said, like if someone says, "Hey, stop," I also know my limits. Like I have a partner that I know my limit. When he says no, it's no. It's not really a question. I'm not going to ask because I know. I'm not gonna push. But the representation of it was only in that movie was only really just Dom and some.
Yeah.
There's other things that you can do. Fetishes, I put all those things in there. That you can interact with. So
What is BDSM? Is this because I think we did I guess I'm assuming everybody should at least have Google and be able to look it up. what it stands for. But from
But
my
yeah,
understanding,
bondage,
bondage,
mhm,
uh,
domination,
Domination.
domination,
sadism,
sadism,
and
and
mass. Mhm,
there we go.
mhm.
Sin 7, of
How,
course.
how do you say that word? Masochism?
Masochism or
Masochism.
masochism.
Masochism? Okay.
I have sent E Black a consent or a slave consent contract that delineates in great detail everything that
Mhm.
could be expected on either side. Because it's something that it's so much communication that there's like no way that a vanilla relationship has the level of communication that a BDSM couple has. It's like night and day,
And
and I
that
think
and that brings me to my next point of sexuality, right? Because we mentioned, like, say the regular sex versus, say, voyeurist style sex. What technically is sexuality, in my opinion, and how is that kind of like developed? Because um, I remember even in high school where we would say, as young boys, we'd be like, "Oh, I would never eat a woman out," and then you start realizing, especially after I got out of high school, that these guys were either lying, and I realized that I was holding back from stuff because of social constructs, you know. And so when we talk about sexuality, what technically is sexuality in terms of like the social way of thinking, or even your own way? I leave it up to you guys.
I would say intimacy.
Intimacy.
I would say a lot of these.
Sexuality.
Yeah.
Oh, go
Mhm.
ahead.
So
Now go,
I
Jay.
think a lot of it has to do with intimacy. I think what's your level of intimacy, or what kind of intimacy you like to uh, have. Because some of these kinds of BDSM practices aren't actual sexual penetration. So at that point, it's more than just that. There's some people who practice BDSM and they're not having actual intercourse, but they're having some kind of form of other things. Like you said, when they're role playing with the uh, mom, dad, stuff like that. Like they're not. Sometimes they can. Don't get me wrong, but there's sometimes it's not. So then there's other things that are taking place.
Mhm.
So I say
yeah,
more
like the
intimacy.
penetration is the last thing. The last, like, it's the buildup. It's the living in the role play. It's the everyone has a different sexual DNA, right? And as you get older, you grow in that way, and sometimes you have a little bit of shame attached to it.
Mhm.
So this allows the opportunity to dialogue with somebody about your fantasies and your fetishes, and not be embarrassed and not be shameful. What's going to happen is, if you tell me your fantasy, what I'm going to do when I create that environment, right, and I script it out, but you don't know what's going to happen. You're going to arrive home and everything's going to be set up based on what you told me. But the beauty of it is that because I care about you and I want you to get out of it exactly what you want, I'm going to freaking turn it up. I'm going to make it like Blu-ray. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's going to be another level, and you're going to just be immersed in this environment that you fantasized about with a partner that you are so turned on by. She's going to be wearing what you want. She's going to be saying what you want. She's going to do to you what you want. Like there's nothing there that you need to feel inhibited about. And if we want to stop, we could stop. And if we want to pause because there's a moment of like big clarity or catharticism, then you could do that. And then after you finish having a session and playing, I like to just go take a beautiful shower together, get dressed, and go have a beautiful dinner, or sit on the couch and watch a movie and order some takeout. And just like, I feel like, I just feel like, how could I ever go back to vanilla lifestyle?
Don't judge me.
Jay,
No.
so what is, being that you're the vanilla person on here, what like in terms of sexuality, how did that, let's just get personal. How did that develop in your life? What was the things that you said? Okay, what were my limits? What did I want? Didn't I don't feel like I want to do? Is it your environment, upbringing, safety concerns, all the above, or all the above?
I think originally well, how I grew in my sexuality personally was taking off the let me see, because I come from a very religious background. So a lot of what my folks would do or not do or say they did and didn't do, that's another that's another topic for another day. But at least what was presented was very vanilla. So if we talked about oral sex or if we talked about anything like that, that was unheard of in my household. So as I grew up, I started to quickly understand. I don't want to throw myself under the bus because I know people watching that's probably gonna say something crazy.
Go ahead. This is a safe space. This is a safe.
My ass. No, it ain't. They're gonna be my DMs like, you know, you was bullshitting. But I learned that certain ways in which I was raised wasn't entirely what a man desires in a woman. And so I learned that there were just different things from role playing to oral sex to just different, I still got some folks in,
Yeah, that's okay.
Let me tell you something.
But anyway,
I'll sum it up. I'll sum it up in one clip.
No. You know.
Driving up that top note, that cream, pure vanilla, sweeteners. That's a 10.
Dang.
So I don't know if that summed it up entirely.
I don't think Jay's all the way vanilla. I don't think Jay's all the way vanilla. And I wanted to ask some questions to you to see if you're actually vanilla, or are you rebelling against the questions because you don't like how they say? I'm just asking. I think you're rebelling a little bit because let's just say if a man was doing something with you, right, and this man, just say he said something inappropriate. Let's say while you're in the moment, you're having a great moment, and he's like, "Oh, he's like, "Oh, you called you slut." He says, "Hey, you're gonna be my little slut." You okay with that? Don't think about it mentally. Are you going to say something while he's doing it? Are you going to turn off?
So role play is one thing to me. So the questions we're asking, okay. So here's the thing with me. If I know the test is about BDSM, then I already have it in my mind that they're talking about the extreme bullshit. And I say bullshit because it's like stuff I'm not interested in.
But see, that's why I said I think you're vanilla. That's why I don't think you're all the way vanilla as much as it said. You might be vanilla, but not as much.
Neapolitan, okay?
Yes, I think you got some strawberries in there because I know if a man slapped your ass and slapped you, maybe even tapped you in the face, if it was the right man, you might be okay.
Lord Jesus.
If you got a little choke while you were getting it done, you was okay.
I don't have but if you look at the results should tell you I'm not all the way vanilla. I mean, like, I don't know what the results. I didn't understand 89% or 83% myself because I'm like, maybe the extreme stuff. Like, I'm not gonna be nobody's pet, like literally a dog or a cat or something. Like when it was asking those kind of questions, like hell no. And I don't want nobody being a dog or a cat or nothing like that to me. Like, you can role play being a character in a movie, a human character though, not like a dog or a cat or some shit. Like,
what about an avatar?
No, nigga, no. You be
nigga, please.
I'm saying don't be nothing non-human. Like, I can't deal with that because here's the thing. I'm goofy. So as soon as you start doing some crazy shit to me, it's gonna throw me all the way out of my element. So it's not even erotic, it's not sexy, it's funny. Yeah. And I don't know how to turn that part off. Okay. So as soon as something goes to goof mode, then it's over with. We laughing and having a good time, but in a different direction. And if you trying to get, bedroom stuff to happen, don't fuck around and try to be no dog or cat or werewolf or something.
Which goes to my next question. Lexi stated that she was a demisexual, and I think certain people bring certain things out of each other. I think
agree. Yeah.
I think in heterosexual sex, of course, man and women, I think you have the male female dynamic. I think even with say lesbian sex, you have the gender. I think when you go walk down the line of sexuality, whether you're even asexual, non-binary, I've heard this term sapiosexual, where people are only attracted when, or they're only willing to do certain things unless they're intellectually attracted to a person. So uh Lexi, could you kind of talk about the demisexual? Because I think for what Polly and Jay Marie was talking about, they were saying that, I think what Polly was saying is that the certain man can bring something out of you. And does that involve your sexuality? Or how does that affect your sexuality?
Okay, so a demisexual is a person that isn't automatically just sexually attracted to people, like the way that some people will have a one night stand just because somebody looks good or because they smelled good. A demisexual doesn't become sexually attracted to someone until they have an emotional bond. So once an emotion, so for me personally, like I'll have, like, let's say an example like Miss Polly. If I were to meet her and we have things in common, we're both subbies, and then we really bond, like connect, we start to talk, and now there's like an emotional connection, I will find myself sexually attracted to her. Like all of a sudden, this woman, I don't mind kissing her. Like I feel the urge to because there's an emotional bond there. So a demisexual doesn't isn't a gender based thing. It's based on the person and the emotional bond that then triggers my sexual interest and my sexual attraction towards them, and that's how I can become intimate. That's what the moment means to me. It's not the physicality of it, it's the energy that's being exchanged, and that power exchange is what I get off on.
So it's
Yeah,
not
I say I'm
necessarily
more sapio.
you're
I
she's
heard
more
about.
safe.
I think I'm more sapio because someone's intellect, that's like
Turn
the
me
biggest
on.
turn on.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah, I think that's, yeah, with the guys, and I say that's why I said I think that when I like more dominant people, I would say people, that is attractive. In like when I said the slave part, we've tried a vet of a woman before, and one of her strong suits was to tell us what to do. And I know it sounds weird. If you're like, I'm not gonna say they're telling her, she's telling my men, the men I'm with, what to do. What I'm saying is that when she's organized and she would direct me all the time. Wherever she wanted, it was happening. You say we going to the store, we going to the store. I didn't ask no questions. I said, okay, whatever you want to do. Say, you want to lay on the floor? I want to lay on the floor. It was what it was. It's no question because she was doing it and she didn't even know. And it didn't matter. That didn't matter. It was just I was attracted to what she was doing and how she was moving. So you still get attracted to their mind, how they process things. Um, that was more attractive to me in people in general.
Okay.
Hmm.
That is interesting because, like I said, when we talk about black sex topics in regards to, that are really taboo, a lot of this stuff is really taboo. You think about the LGBT, that group of
Ooh.
people,
The what?
them people, okay? Wait,
LGBTQ plus. I can get
okay.
my mouse together. I
So
have a
those
lot of friends in that arena. If I can get
so
it.
so so those so we always kind of put those groups of people on the sideline, and we say, well, they're not us, and they're, well, a lot of people there, we consider probably 5% of who people are. In reality, I would say it's 70%, and there's a lot of people who have more sexual ideas and and explore sexual nature, which is why I believe there's like so many SV cases, sexual violent cases, because needs are not being met, suppression of emotions. I think trauma brings a lot of things. People thrive in certain arenas, trauma bonding. You know, some people like they, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I believe Black women who are highly successful in a corporate job would do really well in BDSM. Lexi, you got a point to make on
Which
that?
part? I just want to know which part. Which part? Please, where at?
Oh, well, I think because, for instance, say you have a high level ranking woman, she's in a heavenly masculine arena. She's working all the time around masculine men. She then partakes into competitiveness with men. Then she has to then come home and try to be feminine with a woman. Now, some women can compartmentalize, but I think some women and in some people, it's hard for them to really flip that switch. So I think if they were allowed to, based on a contract, to come home and say, for this hour of time, or for this 4 hour time, or for Saturday, or for this 1 week out of every 3 months, or whatever period of time which was stipulated, they would let go of all the control and dominant features. I think it would help a lot of Black women who are in corporate field. I'm speaking specifically to a certain type of woman, not necessarily all Black women.
Well, let me share this with you. So a lot of people in high power positions, they present alpha, but they're submissive at home.
Yes.
They present alpha, but they're only submissive with their partner at home, and no one would ever even think about it. So a lot of men and women in high power positions, when they get home, the last thing they want to do is make one more decision. Yes. They want to surrender and they want to serve, because all day long they make all the decisions. All day long, everybody depends upon them. So sometimes in those dynamics, that person just wants to come home and surrender to their dom or domina, because it gets draining. When you're in a position of being a dominant or dominant, you have to be so creative. You have to think about so many things, because that sub is just right there waiting for the next command, waiting for that next direction, waiting for that next act that they can do to please their master or their mistress. So I think that many women who are in those positions of power sometimes have a hard time at work, have a hard time admitting that they want to let go. And so at home, they also are dominant, but then they'll have a side piece who is their submissive.
Really?
Like they'll have a young lover, who's just like brings out that youthfulness in her, that playfulness in her. He might be in college, he might be a young lawyer, he might be an associate at the law firm that she's a partner, and she just has flings with him because he'll cater to her.
Really? I never thought of it that. And I'm being dead serious. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, because she'll allow herself to be submissive to this little young buck or this little side piece, because like you said, for 2 or 3 hours she'll escape and then she has to go home and she has to run everything. But deep down inside, she wishes her husband, would be more alpha when she shows up, so she could surrender. But if they were married young and they didn't grow sexually together in their relationship, people just play the role and play the part. Sometimes they don't have the courage to say what it is that they want and what it is that they need, and then they invite external forces into their relationship as a way in the initial stage. You think, this is not going to be detrimental to my relationship, but in the long term it is, because you're hiding aspects of who you are when you shouldn't. You should be able to say, honey, when I come home, I want to be your slave. And then if he says, well, you know what, I don't like that, then how do you feel if I take on a lover? Like, have the conversation. Let him know, like, damn, my wife really wants this. This is serious.
But do you really think that's what goes on in everyday, say, relationships? Usually, us
I
in
know in the
relationships.
BDSM relationships it happens.
I agree with you, but in everyday relationships, I think we meet each other. We usually have sex, and we kind of say, okay, well, this person is maybe a level 7 of freakiness, and that she might go up to a level 8 if I on a drunk night or a really really fun time 9. But it's really those are special nights. Uh,
I,
Yeah,
go
I
but
ahead.
just, I think,
don't
yeah, I think what he's
underestimate.
saying is, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, baby.
I'm sorry, I just want to say, don't ever underestimate what your partner is willing to do for you. Give them the
Mm.
opportunity. Give them the opportunity. And if they say, "Damn, honey, that's kind of tough," you could walk her through it. You know what I mean? Like I don't, if you want to experiment and you want to try something, you could talk to your partner and say, I want to try this, and she may say, "Okay, well, when we go on vacation, we'll try it."
Mhm.
Also give her the space for her to meditate on it. Or she might say, "Damn, babe, you know what? I was thinking about some freaky ass shit too. Yeah, let's do it." And
Yeah.
and you're like, "Whoa, are you kidding me?" And you discover that you've been suppressing that aspect. And so, yeah, Miss Polly, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, you were fine. I think that a lot of times you talk about like just a normal relationship. I think what happens is when you're in a relationship where everything's kind of just like you said, more vanilla. I think the criteria for those kind of relationships are just supposed to be vanilla. You're not supposed to show those kind of things because all you're shamed for it. A lot of things are shamed. If you were to come to a partner and say, "Hey, listen, you know what? I want you to do this to me," they may feel kind of weird about it. And that's where that safe place comes in. I think a lot of relationships right now are very shallow based on just looks and all those things. There's no deeper connection. And that's where I think the people who are sapiosexuals, people who are into other things, because we're thinking that we're not getting attracted to that. There's nothing really connecting us in the sexual realm other than just, oh, well, they look cute. But it's not enough. For people who I think are
Right.
more vanilla, I think it's shallow. I just be honest, more shallow. I'm not saying everything is shallow. I think because you're not trying to even trying to figure out like just base stuff. You hear women complain, "Oh, I can't get off. I never got off," because you and your man never had a real conversation about things that really make you feel good. What if you do like to be, listen, you hear it all the time. Even these week, why do you go to a sneak link to have him spit in your mouth, but you won't let your man do it? That doesn't make sense. That means that you're trying to find something that you don't want to be shamed for asking your man to do. And just like that's kind of strange. You rather have a stranger do these things with you than have the person you're supposed to be the most intimate with do them with you. That's backwards. That's backwards. You
Yeah,
rather go eat some other man's ass
yeah,
than
and
your
just
man's ass, then ask him, does he want his ass eaten?
Lord Jesus.
I think I'm gonna be
I'm
playing this
I'm
red, getting red.
because I feel like Miss Polly pulled my card. Okay, so um I'm somebody that when I take a test, if I know what the outcome is supposed to be, I'm gonna obviously rig it. Like, so you pulled my fucking card on that one. I'm gonna obviously rig it. I'm just not that person. Like, if I already know what the outcome is supposed to be, I'm gonna rig it. But now
Mhm.
that doesn't mean that it's not far off from my results. Like, I feel like those are probably more accurate. Some of the stuff I question, but when I think about it, hearing what you ladies are talking about, I'm somebody that I typically like an alpha male, but not because I'm submissive. I just like the balance of he can tell me what to do when I need to be told what to do, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the bedroom specifically. I just
Mhm.
need somebody who is able to run the show, but also not so arrogant that I could never run it.
Mhm.
And this is outside of the bedroom too. So when I think about that, um, it's also inside the bedroom, but outside the bedroom is the team player dynamic for me. So it's like, can you run things? Are you a pussy about everything? I hate to say it that way, but I don't like guys who can't stand up for themselves, don't have any sort of sense of their own direction, and things like that. So it tends to translate the same in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, can I make a comment real quick? Because I want y'all to know this. It's really, really important about this. I think women misinterpret leadership. If you have a proper leader, he will know your needs. And your needs are to sometimes lead or to sometimes take a role in positions that you need. He will allow that. That is a leader because he recognizes your skill. And if he's not recognizing your gift and how you're contributing to your home or your relationship, then he's not leading you. He just wants you to follow like a sheep.
Right.
But I also think
The only way a woman has a man has the power, and he empowers the woman. He empowers the woman by giving her the safe space that she needs to be every level of who she is. Like he allows it. Like a master isn't like a regular vanilla guy. He's very well studied. He is very much into the philosophy and the psychology of you. So he will empower you to be more of who you are. He'll tell you, you go out that door today and you go strut your shit and you freaking take over when you get to that boardroom and you come back to this house with the results of the woman that I'm with. And you just walk. What? I'm like, what? Can't nobody tell me nothing. Nobody can tell me.
see, and
Hold on, ladies. First, I want to get something. All right.
yeah, my
All right. So, she asked this in earlier situations, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get to it, but I want to make sure we got it out. Does Tantra have any role in BDSM?
Yes, it
tantric
can
sex,
be.
yes, it does. Yeah.
Yes, it's a beautiful. If you have that much level of comfort with your partner, that you're gonna bring the tantric element into that BDSM. Oh my Jesus Christ! I want to just sit and watch. I just want to sit and watch because that's gonna be like, holy cow! That's gonna be beautiful. That's gonna be the real deal.
Okay, and then the next question or the next statement that was brought up.
And you did tell me you're gonna ask all the questions clearly. We're answering them.
Then I think Nina asked in regards to the situation we brought with I think dominant females, and she was saying that notion goes for both male and female. And the reason why I started this was because I don't necessarily, as a man, I don't necessarily believe we have to switch off. We're masculine outside the world. We come home and we be masculine. And I do believe that there's some men that don't want to do that at home, but I don't believe that's a lot of men or the overwhelming group of men. If I'm being very clear.
It may be in the bedroom where they're specifically.
You know what? I'm lying. I do think there are some men that do want women to take control. I just realized, yeah.
But in the bed, but like at different points, like I think it's the balance of it, not necessarily where like he wants to turn into a little girl when he comes home, for instance, or he wants to turn into what do you call that? The damsel in distress. I can't speak for every man, and I won't, but the ones that I've encountered, even if they say they like a woman to be in control, it's maybe more of a confident woman that they're referring to, not necessarily a woman to like take control and you do this, do that, da 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 da. But it's more of I want you to know what you're supposed to do and do it, but not because I'm telling you to do it. And I think that's maybe more the balance piece of it. But when we're talking about the bedroom and the sexual pieces to it, I think that can go drastically different. Like, and that's in the confines of people's bedrooms, and You probably won't ever know how somebody truly is. And it might be the most alpha male you work with that come home and be on some other shit, like totally
Oh yeah,
their thing on it. And
yeah,
you'll
yeah.
never know that because he doesn't present that externally.
Okay, and then the next thing, this
Mhm.
is Damien from Can I Get Some Podcast, ironically. Create
I
an
like that name.
environment of safety and security, free from judgment, and you will learn a lot about what really turns your partner on. Great statement. Nina Beck comes back again with another statement. What Lexi is talking about is the benefit of being a switch if you actually have an alpha oriented partner without needing to go outside of it unless you want to. Anybody want to reiterate that point?
When it comes to the results that I had with this the whole switch thing, um I think it's accurate. When you have somebody, let me speak for myself. When I have somebody who's an alpha male type, or I'll say more alpha male driven, not necessarily the arrogant, misogynistic type of alpha male that maybe we sometimes categorize as alphas, but the more balanced, the one that can be in control, is confident in who he is and what he's about and all that kind of thing, then, and he also creates that safe environment. As a woman, I would want to, experience other avenues of sexual desires, but not to the degree of, I mean, I don't care what the test results say, like, it's certain shit I'm just not into. It ain't even about a safe space. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, you said you
as
were
an
a rope
example,
bunny.
tying
I
up
think you were a
and
rope
no,
bunny.
no, no, ma'am, tying up and like blindfolding is what I equate to rope bunny. Now, if
That's
we talking
exactly what
about
that is.
chaining up and all in the dungeon and shit, hell no.
No,
I
it's
ain't talking
all
about that.
tied up. You
But
but you're tied up the same difference.
it's a form of restraint, but light restraint, not beating somebody's ass and all this other kind of stuff. Like, I'm not into that. I'm not into nobody pissing on me, shitting on me, spitting on me. None
You
of
went
that.
too far. It's
I'm
just a
just
You
gentle
saying.
you
restraint.
why do you have to go all the way
You
towards
I'm just saying because it said it in the text. It was like, do not. I don't want nobody
not
pissing
read
on
anything
me.
about peeing on people or nothing. I did not read that, ma'am.
I read it. It said something. I think it depends. I don't know, or somewhere I read it somewhere. But anyway, regardless of it, the test was testing me. Okay, because
It
yes.
I
was.
don't care
I think
how
it was.
secure. I don't care how secure I am with the man, how confident he is. There's just certain levels like I'm not comfortable with that, and it has nothing to do with do I trust you? Because I've had somebody come to me and be like, are you into this? No. And since you are, I know not to deal with your motherfucking ass because I'm not into that. I have. I'm just saying. And it was respectful. Like, bro, you can keep that shit over there. I thought he was bullshitting for the longest. And he wasn't. And I was
He,
like,
no, he was really down. He was like, "Yo, I'm really about this action."
But
Okay,
just to
okay, guys, I'm gonna have to run away. I apologize for interrupting. I'm gonna have to run away.
We're
It
gonna
is
miss.
time.
She's not
why
being
you gotta always
submissive.
run away?
She's not gonna be a submissive right now. This is her other part of dominant that she has that she has to
This is
go.
not
No,
that. Listen. If you really want to know,
no, I don't. I don't.
I am following my mission that was given to me by my dom, and that is to contribute to all of YouTube because I'm trying to make it happen. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going, and you guys have a great rest of your talk. Okay.
thank you, Miss Polly.
Thank
Nice
you, Miss Polly.
Okay.
story.
Thank you for your contribution.
I appreciate Miss Polly. She
Okay, yeah, and please, yeah, put your links in. Like I said, we have another show if we have to. I think I should put that in there so people are interested. Lexi, put down your information so people can get information if they want to know, because a lot of people are hiding out here, as we all know, because they don't
Oh yeah,
want to get the
they hide
information.
in my DMs. I'm gonna call y'all out.
Crazy.
I ain't saying no names, but
Oh Lord,
all the DMs about this test now. I'm just trying to
Lord, praise him.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Just so everybody knows what we're talking about. Jay Marie posted some of the results to her Facebook family, and she's been getting a rousing response.
Hold on. The terminology there, sir.
Oh wow,
I have
they
people
were
who are
aroused all right.
interested.
By
They
vanilla.
Driving up that top note, that cream, pure vanilla, sweeteners. That's a 10.
I wanted to say to J. Marie, when let's say that you are in your dominant female stance, you don't have to be a sadist or a masochist. Like I'm a sensual domina. I am strict and I'm nurturing. So when I'm in the dynamic that I'm a dom, what comes out is more like a mother teacher aspect to me, where if you need discipline, I am not going to beat you. I'm going to put you in timeout. I'm going to send you to your room. If it's extreme and I have to really like get physical with a flogger or a belt, then I will. But I am more of a central, strict, nurturing domina. So it doesn't always have to be super sadistic or masochistic when you're role playing or when you're living your lifestyle that way.
Well, let me. Okay.
I've never seen in 3 episodes. I've never seen her speechless like this.
Well, because, so what I want to say is this, and I don't know if it's because you don't have children, but regardless of it, like when I think about the mother dynamic or chastising somebody or whatever, I think of it from a mother standpoint. But since I have children, it's like I don't want my men to act like kids. So that's not a turn on to me. And nothing about
I
that.
just want you to know that there's a spectrum. It's not all what they, the idea of BDSM is not all just tying up and hog tying and beating.
I understand, I understand way more than I'm pretending to know.
Okay, that's all. I just want to you could just be a sensual domina, and you don't have to ever be a mom or be a teacher. You're just, you tell your submissive to get naked, to fold their clothes, and to rub your feet, and it's just a sensual thing that they are there to serve you at your pleasure and your leisure, like a butler. Whenever I have a sub around me, I turn him into my wife and butler. That's what I make him do. I make him a domestic guy.
I don't know, even in role play, I don't know that I want somebody to pretend to be my butler or submissive to me in that way.
What about serving? What about serving? Willingness to serve.
Willingness to serve in terms of what?
Like,
I think it doesn't always have to be sexual. Like, okay, so I've had submissive.
Oh, just in terms of
he's just a butler. Like I've had a submissive who's just my butler and my wife. He never touches me. The most he'll touch is my feet when I ask for a foot rub, but he doesn't have access to me at all. He's here to serve me, and I give him strict instructions to grovel on the ground. He's not allowed to look at me in the eyes, and he has tasks to complete. And once he's done doing his wifely duties and making me a martini like a good butler, he is released to go, and I'll see him tomorrow at 3 p.m. again. And that's all he is, a domestic servant.
So is that the same? Now is top and bottom included in BDSM? Because
I think that's
I know there are different
true.
roles. I've heard
It's
different roles in BDSM. We know it's dom sub. Is it just dom sub? Because
no. There's a term that you can say to your sub that you're topping from the bottom. When your submissive is trying to rebel or be bratty, then you'll say, hey, you're topping from the bottom. Get yourself together. Because you're a bottom trying to top. You're topping from the bottom, meaning you're not playing your role. So you'll say, are you topping from the bottom? And you're like, I'm sorry, no, mistress, no, mistress, I'm not topping from the bottom. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I don't know that I think I'm very vanilla in this area.
My God, my God.
Know that I don't know that I would ever talk to a man like that or want to even.
Well, hold on one
No,
second. Hold on, let me
and
answer
I'm
one.
not judging.
Hold on, hold on one
Okay.
second. I think in the context of the conversation, Robbie, you may have missed it, but she can be both. We
Yeah, she's
discussed the
switched.
idea of a switch. So I don't know if she missed it. So hold on, let me get some more
I just
context.
want to say in my relationship where I have actual penetration, my man is a master. He's an alpha. He's a dom. I am here at his pleasure and leisure. That is the only type of man that I will have penetration with. If I have a submissive, he's a domestic servant. There's nothing sexual or anything. He's not doing, there's nothing sexual. He's a domestic servant. He's a sissy boy, or what you call a wife. So I make him wear silk panties. I make him wear lingerie. Sometimes I'll make him wear heels. He cleans the house. He does the laundry. He does the food shopping. He cooks. He makes my martini. He checks in if I need anything. And then I release him to come back tomorrow to do the more domestic services.
You mentioned,
Ooh, heels.
yeah. Hold on one sec. You mentioned master a couple of times. Is that because from my understanding, to get to the level of master, it takes a certain. Is it like within the community, or is it just a term that once you've reached a certain enlightenment of dominance?
When you can, unless you're new, you're gonna probably maybe fall for any master. But when you're in the lifestyle and you're looking for somebody and they are a master, they usually will give you their resume. They'll even tell you if you want to call prior submissives of mine and get a review or get some perspective. And a lot of I've done that. When I meet somebody that I'm really into, I want to know what happened. So I'll call the sub and ask questions. And then
So you have a resume.
yeah, I ask him like, yeah,
I'm
because
blown away. I'm sorry.
yeah, like he has to come uh he has to really be of substance. Like I'm surrendering everything that I am to this person, and they're gonna have full responsibility and control over me. Everything.
So wait. These are the people that are on the resume are former subs.
Yeah, like I mean, he's not gonna have the list of people there, but he'll offer. If you want to talk to my previous submissives, you're welcome to. I'll give you their number, but he'll come to you with all his experience.
I said that to a man jokingly, but I've never had anybody be like, "Yeah, give me these previous niggas' numbers." I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I've said that to be like, you want to call my ex up, but I've never had nobody be like, "Yeah, what's their number?" I would have been mortified. Like,
but okay, all right. Let's not be childish because we are talking. We're talking. We're not. You're not being childish. This is not being childish about this. We are talking about a community of people who have a set standard and culture within themselves.
Right.
So it seems far fetched to me to sit here and say that okay, put on paper or however you want to a list of other people who can verify your ability to be a dominant is wow. Okay.
It is really far-fetched to me because like I said, I've said this to guys because sometimes it'll be like where somebody will be like I'm trying to not throw myself under the bus.
No, go ahead. You knee deep in there. You
Somebody be
done.
like, well, how did you? Somebody will say, um, maybe based on my age or because I have children or something along those lines that, you know, they feel like I'm skilled in certain areas. And I'll say something like, well, you can thank my ex for that, and a certain ex, you know, and they'll be like, oh, well, yeah, thank that nigga, because you know, and I'll be laughing because I'm thinking to myself, now, as you say this, Lexi, I'm thinking, damn, what if they was really like it was like a list of references where they were like calling, like, hey, did she suck, or did she ever lick, or did you ever this or that? You know, asking the question. I don't know how I would feel about that. So that's
Let me
interesting.
just say this because I like, so I belong to a club. It's a very exclusive club. It's very expensive to get into this club. Before anyone could, it's called the Inner Sanctum. Before you, it's like Eyes Wide Shut. It's that type of club. They vet every person that is going to become a member. You have to be referred by two members in order to even be considered. So it's not like we just meet in a coffee shop and I'm hoping this guy is a master. Like, I don't go to, some people live that, and that's like low level lifestyle people. They don't play at the level that I play. When I am looking for someone, I go to the parties, and these men that are already there have been vetted, and they have no issue introducing themselves and their credentials. And if what they're presenting is not substantial enough, they're more than happy to give me even more information to let me know that they really are worthy of owning someone like me. And
I
then
Okay. Okay. I get what you're
I
saying
think
with that.
even butlers are like that. Like you have to be trained to be a butler, but then to be a butler, you still have to go through like to be special, a certain special type of butler for high ranking people. You have to have like a lot more reference. You
A
have to be
real, are you saying a real butler, or are you
a
talking
real
about the
butler.
position that she was saying, a butler? Oh, okay, okay. I got you. I
Yeah,
got you.
I actually was one day I was just cruising the internet and I was just like, I wonder how much it costs to have a butler. And then I went down this whole rabbit hole and I was like, wait a minute, butlers are like
What?
yeah, butlers are a unique special breed. You can't just have a butler. You can have somebody come up and clean your house, but to have a butler is a special category of lifestyle. It's weird.
And the
So
tax bracket I have never been in or have yet to be in yet. So let's say that. Okay.
so salute to everybody that's here. Please get the likes up uh if you guys are enjoying the conversation. Like I said, if anybody wants to troll on this chat, if anybody wants to have conversations, please go somewhere else right now. We having grown folks conversation right now. I'm really intrigued. I'm actually learned a couple of things right now. So let's move it on to some activities, right? Now,
I
Lexi.
hold on.
Are we? Are we?
I DM'd you the club that I belong to, eBlock, so you can pull up their website if you want.
Sure, I
Oh, I
have
was
no
gonna say, you and your wife want to join the club. This is. Let
shit.
us know how that goes. I mean, just.
Hey, anything for my YouTube family, okay?
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Eh, whoa, I don't think I can show this online, but
No, probably not.
I definitely see it. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to show that online, but there
You can
she's
show the website if you wanted to, and you can see the requirements and the membership cost and the privileges, and no one it's not for the faint at heart. It's not cheap. I think the first membership starts at 20,000 a year, and it goes up from there.
Wow. You want
yeah,
to just show the website, the link to it? I mean,
yeah.
type it in there, like
No.
www.
Okay, I will show the apply page. That's pretty much all I can
I
show.
was gonna say, just do the type it in the, do it as a banner.
So yeah, so here we go. She ain't lying. 12,000 per year. is required at minimal for a single gentleman to attend. It is approved non-members and their contacted. What? Application fee is for $500.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, this is well out of my tax bracket. Well out of my tax bracket.
You know what? Shit. So what kind of men actually do you are these I would are these like athletes?
Not typically. It's not rappers or athletes. It's not people like that. It's people who are a little bit more distinguished, politicians, executives at big companies, CEOs, general counsels, diplomats are more of the people that you see there. More of the people that have something at stake and have the decorum and sophistication to be in those places. It's not for the twerkers or the
So it is a man of with means and also possibly a certain je ne sais quoi
yeah.
about
I
themselves.
mean, twerkers could still be women of great stature and
Excuse me?
status too.
Who?
Nigga,
Twerkers,
please.
you said
Yeah,
twerkers.
but those guys are not going to take you to those parties. These men are wearing tuxedos to these events, and the women are wearing gowns. And
No, I was saying twerkers.
there's not that behavior. That behavior is just not welcomed. It cheapens the experience when you have beautiful, exquisite, gorgeous women of every color and race that know how to conduct herself in this beautiful environment that's been created for us.
Lord Jesus.
Turn into that aspect when they're going to get down and it's going to get lit, then everybody separates and goes does their own thing and has a good time. But while we're in the common areas and you're interacting, you're trying to make sure that you have decorum and that you don't cheapen the experience. It's very sophisticated that way, even though
I get
there
that.
might be two people having sex right next to you and they're beautiful porn stars and they're part of the entertainment. So they're very careful. They don't want trash because there's no cameras allowed. You surrender your phone. These people have a lot at stake, so they are not just gonna let anybody in there, even if they could afford it. It's not gonna happen. And if you do let somebody in just because they're famous, then you're gonna lose members.
Oh, I see what you're
Yes.
saying. That is dope. That is
Deep.
So
No
there's a
pun
lot of
intended,
business
or-
and networking that
bars.
happens in those spaces. You meet a lot of people, you rub shoulders with people who speak your language, and now you're able to even do business with them. And otherwise, you might have never met them.
so
And it would almost seem like these are also the type of people that you do business with. Now you all both know what you all are into, so it's like, hey, we're not finna fuck nothing up on that end. I'm not
Exactly,
gonna mess your
Marie.
business up. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I got dirt on you, you got dirt on me. I kind of like that idea. I'm not saying I like that idea, but just that concept that you got dirt on me, I got dirt on you. So neither of us are gonna say anything out the way or do anything to damage each other's reputation because we know it's just as equal amount of dirt on both ends.
And the number one BDSM capital of the whole world is Tokyo.
Okay.
that's interesting. Why Tokyo?
Right.
I
And
mean,
then
in
what is the
Tokyo,
United States?
they have vending machines with dirty underwears in them that people can buy. They have vending machines in Tokyo.
Dirty underwear, like
a vending machine. You put money in it, and you get a dirty underwear to take with you. They have
dirty. Okay, define dirty.
soiled underwear. They sell.
Okay.
You can Google it. You can Google the dirty underwear vending machines in Tokyo, and you'll see pictures, and you'll even see videos of people purchasing them.
Nigga, please.
I thought maybe you meant like brand new underwear, but it's called dirty underwear. But you mean literally?
Yeah, some women are asked to wear their same underwear for a week and then send them to somebody. Or you can go to a vending machine and pick an underwear that's 1 week old, 2 weeks old, 3 weeks, 4 months, and you just purchased it, and men like to smell them or wear them over their head to smell them while they're having sex.
Wow. Okay, Lexi, I got a question for you. I got a question for you. And I've had discussions with individuals about this topic. And some people disagree with me, some people agree with me. I've always believed that BDSM without a contract is really just kink. What do you say to that?
I agree with you because I have to have a contract. All my exes have been into the lifestyle, and they're the ones who have sophisticated, my approach up to
Mm-hmm.
this age and stage of my life. So the contract to me is everything. I don't enter into an exclusive relationship with anybody unless we come up with a contract and we sign it. And then I'll know, God forbid, if we break up, I'll walk away with what I'm supposed to. And so will he, and there'll be no problems. But I'm not going to enter into like what people do in a vanilla relationship, and then they break up and then they're destroyed and you walk away with just a broken heart and
Yeah.
nothing. And
And then
nothing.
So
I've always
here's
said,
hmm.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so
Go ahead. I might be
so
too involved in this
you
conversation.
you are. So so here's my question to that. When you say you don't enter into a relationship, so even say for instance, if you meet a guy, you fall in love with him, you at some point know it's going to go towards marriage, or do you date and get in a relationship with that understanding or with that ideology that you want to marry somebody, or do you get into it for just that aspect of we're going to be serious about the whole BDSM life, and because we are, you have to sign this NDA or you have to do this whole contract thing. So it's a whole ordeal with you. Like,
Yeah, we when we're in the boyfriend, whatever vanilla people call boyfriend girlfriend, there's a contract. We don't become boyfriend and girlfriend until we come up with a contract. And the first 90 days, which is that probationary period, what we're doing is drawing up the contract and talking about it. What do we want to include in it? What matters to us? What are our hard limits? What are soft limits? What do we want to explore? What are our expectations? And we leave room to make addendums and adaptations to the contract as the relationship moves forward.
Hold
And
on,
then
hold on.
we start becoming
I've
physical.
never.
Sin 7 says she fired her last dominant and still has a collar. Is that allowed?
Yeah, because if she wants to be released because she's not happy and the person who's supposed to be in control isn't leading properly, she has the right to respectfully ask to be released. And then she's released. And then that means and then when you're released as a submissive, it's like if you were considered lost until you find your next master, and then you have guidance again.
So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at some of the contract that thankfully Lexi has sent me. We're not gonna
Oh,
we're not gonna read through this, but it says it makes some definitions of a master. It says a slave, a submissive individual whose whole needs, motives, and desires are to serve. Some naming areas, much like a name, effective this day, um, and it shall be effective for a period of 90 days. Now, is the 90 days, is that it's just a personal thing with you, or is that with something that's standard?
The contract is effective until we decide to make it null and void or someone betrays, which usually doesn't really happen. But the 90 days is like a probationary period, like at a job. When you get a job, they give you those 90 days to see if you fit in, see if it's the right mix, and then you make it permanent.
Okay. And just to be clear, because like I said, I think Robbie brought up a great point. Do you accept the verbiage of slave in your contract?
Yeah, it's just like any contract. You're just identifying the players
Mm-hmm.
It's just the verbiage of a contract to make it clear and know and identify the players. And you just say here and now, Lexi Maxwell will be referred to as slave.
Yes.
You
Or
know,
yeah. Some people sometimes I've heard contracts say, well, I want to say so. Let me quit capping. I made a contract that said I want to be referred to as sir.
yeah. So there you go. So there you could put that in there.
Okay, so you see what I was doing, Jay? I was like, I was trying to lie. I was trying. I was like,
So
are you looking for the contract still?
who, me?
Yes.
No. I'm trying to remember what I was gonna ask her.
Well, while you remember, can I play a video real quick?
Yes, because then that'll help me maybe hopefully remember or not forget more.
All right, real quickly, and I want to play a video in regards to this contract talk. Of course, this is from 50 Shades of Grey, and I'm gonna ask kind of how close the scenario was. So,
The new one? An oversight. Duly noted. Page 3, section 1520. The submissive shall submit to any sexual activity demanded by the dominant and shall do so without hesitation or argument. Turn to page 5, appendix 3, soft limits.
With you.
Find anal fisting.
I'm all ears.
Strike it out. Strike out vaginal fisting too.
You sure?
Yeah. Same page. Is the use of sex toys acceptable to the submissive? Vibrators okay. Dildos fine. Genital clamps? Absolutely not.
so I just wanted, I literally just, I'm sorry. I just wanted to, I just kind of wanted to illuminate the formality of this. Let's see, how close is this to reality?
It's very much like that. Absolutely. It's like that. It's treated that way. It's very, it's a negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
And both parties need to speak up and share their hard limits, share their soft limits and expectations. And then, then you go back and you revisit it. You keep reworking it until the contract is exactly expressing what both parties require and need and expect. And then you sign it. And then usually you have a nice big party, or you go like an awesome vacation. Like it's almost like an engagement, you're like so excited. Like, it's like, oh my God, what's about to happen? It's very thrilling.
Because I remember in this movie, he actually said, because of the enthusiasm, I'm going to give you a deal. I'm going to allow for once a week, we're going to go out like boyfriend and girlfriend to the movie theater. I'm going to give something back to you. Right. So it's a negotiation. And, just like any baseball, basketball, football contract, if you reach a certain point, they might give you 100,000 or you might get a blowjob, I guess.
I want to say this. I never saw the movie. I actually read both of the books because I think it was 50 Shades of Grey and then it was darker, or it might have been 3 different books. But I actually read the book. The book is way more intense than the movie probably ever could be. But that let me know I was definitely not into what I thought I was into when I read that book. I was just like, oh, I need to start telling folks I am not into this, because that Rihanna song had me thinking, oh, this is just, fun and games and not a big deal, but it's an actual business arrangement. When we're talking about what your hard limits are, what your soft limits are, and all of that. And that's when I knew, yeah.
That you wasn't about that life?
Exactly. But what to Sin's point, yeah. And when I read the book, I'm like, I know the movie can't do this. I know it can't go into all this. There's no way in hell.
We have a question for you, Lexi. If a member in the club is a monogamous legal marriage, or isn't a monogamous
Is in a yeah, monogamous
legal
legal
marriage,
marriage.
does the club require the non-member spouse to agree to member spouse's activities to keep the situation from getting chaotic slash messy, or messy slash chaotic?
I
Okay,
mean,
so to paraphrase, can they be married and in this club? And if their husband or wife is not a part of it,
I'm
what
sure
happens
that
next?
they can. I don't know I've never been through the interview process that the man receives, but he has to disclose all his information. And I'm
Mhm.
sure that they would want to make sure that that aspect of it is not going to become an issue. Otherwise, he's going to be excluded from the club.
Hold on. Now this is, we have two direct comments, right? One above each other, top and bottom, that are directly contradicting each other. I never did the contract thing. Sin 7 says, Nina, my subs had contracts. She said we gonna lay it down. I don't believe. Look, I believe if you guys just want to kind of have fun, do a little role play, probably explore with role play and a lot of other things in BDSM, that's fine. But I call that kink. I don't necessarily call that BDSM, because to me the contract, without punishment, without holding somebody to the line, you don't really. It's just kink. If we say on Friday we are going to do XYZ, and then on Friday you're like, oh, I'm tired, I don't feel like it. Well, you're breaking the contract. Then it's really not then there's no real bondage to really the seriousness of the experience, because I'm taking also my time out the day to set up the scene. I don't know.
Yeah, because what happens is, Black, if I know that on Friday, right, it's already established and scheduled, and this is the expectation you have, then it's my responsibility to handle my week in a way to be available for what it is that you expect on Friday. Otherwise, there's going to be a price to pay.
Okay. How does one become one? How do
A
you
club
become?
member or a dom, a sub? Which
Yeah,
one
yeah.
are
You're gonna
we?
have to be a little
One.
bit be clear. You have to be a little bit more clear. My contract is. I'm sorry. My contracts are in the form of protocols, so exceptions are met. And yes, there is no need to sugarcoat it. There is kink involved every step of the way, at least for my
Lord Jesus.
Well, so
The master is taking the person's health. They become responsible for your health, your financials, your lodging, even your education. Well, that's funny. So it's a big responsibility that's happening. So it's the kink is the beautiful manifestation of all that work that you put into your contract. So
I
yeah,
think
it's a lot more responsibility than just
my
you know
voice isn't
saying
easy.
something and then changing your
Oh,
mind.
I think as let me say, as I've come to understand more about it, I think mine is more kink and eroticism, because there are some aspects of it that are like fun, right? But if you really are gonna chastise me because I decided not to do what I said I was gonna do on Friday because now I have a headache, or Mother Nature has popped in and I really don't feel like doing it, but then you're saying, well, this is a contract and you're supposed to do it. I think I would not be interested at all in that person, because for me, it's a matter of I'm doing it to please you, but if we both can't be pleased, or if I'm not feeling well, then it's almost like it's a force to do it. but then there's also that aspect or that element where it's like, I want my man to be pleased too. So it's not that, oh, it has to be all my pleasure and none of for him. But in the consideration factor, like I feel like as a contractor, BDSM, there's no consideration to that. Or it seemed like it's more the 50 Shades of Grey. Because like I remember reading somewhere where he was like he wanted her bladder full. So there is the truth to that. But what I will say is it was interesting because I was like, that could be, could mess up
Dangerous.
somebody's body. Yeah, it can mess up somebody's body. I'm not saying malfunctions, body functions. I'll say
The
when you're
contract,
doing things like that.
the contract is a living organism. It's constantly evolving. If a request is made as a submissive, you're able to talk about it. I mean,
Right, and
you're
even in
not
the
you're
book,
not
yeah.
right. If you ask me to keep my bladder full and I pee every 5 minutes, I'm gonna be, but master, you see that I'm running to the bathroom all the time. Well, you're gonna have to hold it. Well, can we set a time limit? If I can't hold it more than 15 minutes, you can negotiate, because the master doesn't get to be a master unless I submit. Otherwise, they don't have anybody to control.
Mm-hmm.
So they only get to do what they get to do.
That's an interesting
Yeah,
So
the person with the real power is
way
the
of looking at it.
submissive. The submissive has the real power. Because if the submissive walks away, the master, you know how hard it is to find a submissive to do every single thing that you like? It's easier for me to go find a new master than it is for a master to find a submissive that is willing and able to please him or her in all the facets that she requires. So when you find that, you found that person, it's a sacred thing. You don't take it for granted. You're not going to willingly throw it out. You're going to discuss every single little thing if that's what is necessary, and it's not a big deal. And what you do is you ask for time. You ask the master, can you please schedule us for a conversation, master? Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk Saturday, 2:00. You know what I mean? You ask,
and you have to keep it up, and you have to at 2:00 on the dot. You have to be on the dot.
yeah, we're going to be ready and we're going to talk about it. And it's not contentious. It's not like vanilla relationships that you bring up a topic and now we're fighting. It's not like that. It's a conversation. It's dialogue.
But to your point though, Lexi, I want to say this. I think that has to do with emotional intelligence overall, because you can be in a vanilla relationship and have great communication. Because I think that boils down to communication and in your communication style, because that's something that I've learned over time as I've grown in my emotional intelligence, that it's about being able to address issues when you need to address them, but having a level head about whatever it is that you are addressing, even if it is something where you feel offended or you feel wronged or things like that. So I don't think it's necessarily, and I'm not being like, oh, I'm defending all vanillas, because I'm not. And I might not be as vanilla as I say either, but at the same time, I think it is about communication, period.
Right. So why BDSM relationships have a longer lasting experience than vanilla, because of the level of communication that is part of the fundamentals of BDSM. That vanilla people have to go to therapy sometimes. You have to bring your partner. You might be emotionally intelligent, but your partner is not up to par to that, right? So in BDSM, both parties are bringing in that level of, we'll call it emotional intelligence, into the conversation, and there's no contention. But not so a lot of BDSM relationships have a long shelf life versus vanilla, because vanilla people, first of all, they're scared to talk about just the basic things. Sometimes the toilet paper, the toilet seat, little things like that. They can't deep dive into what's going on in their psyche.
Okay. So, that brought up another question in my mind when we were talking about going to therapy and different things like that. it not necessarily the therapy part of it, but it made me think about when you say a contract, and contracts typically are legal, right? So, or we say a contract is legal. So if you have in this contract that you want all this wild shit being done to you, or they have to, whatever it is, and it's a contract. If they violate it, you go to court, or how does that work?
It depends on what you're going to go to court for. If in the contract there was talk about money or assets, then then one party is going to go back on what they agreed upon. You can take it to a mediator. You can take it to court if you want to. I have never seen anything reach that level of contentiousness in my personal experience or the people that I know. Once you sign the contract and if you want to be released, then the terms of the contract are followed, and there's no one's burning each other's house down. It's not like that. We're going to break up and it's mutual and it's amicable, and we just walk away with the things that we agreed upon in the contract. It's not
okay. So
it's like if there's like, if my master wanted to go play with another submissive, it's going to stay in the contract if I want to know about it or not. The contract protects me and protects him. So it's not like a free for all in that regard. If there's assets that need to be divided, or assets that were talked about in the contract that are expected at a breakup, then you take it to litigation, or you take it to a mediator, or or if you have to take it to court, you take it to court and see, because it's a contract. It's a binding contract.
I think what Nina's saying is very good. It's up to your dom or dommies to know basic health issues about you before imposing certain conditions on you for their amusement. I think it's also important to have an educated dom in regards to legal things. You cannot have somebody who's just, oh, I'm a dom just because I'm a dom. They have to assume the role of it, and they have to do research. They have to read books. They have to.
And this contract gets notarized. It gets notarized and gets filed.
Mm-hmm.
And like Nina just said, if I have bad knees, then my master is not going to have me kneeling for long periods of time. He's not going to be an asshole.
First of all, I knew he was finna do it. By this time in life, we do have bad knees, so I'm gonna need everybody to understand. Listen, don't be having me kneeling. I knew he was finna go stupid with it.
But no. Seriously, no. And another thing about that is that if you do have, say, bad knees, then I need to probably write in a contract that you need to do position for practice for 30 minutes a day. I might have to write that in there. And then I'll teach you position. I'll say position 1, position 2, position 3.
You know what that command means. And you know what that command means.
And if you haven't been practicing, then it'll show. But then that's you.
Even some contracts include workout routines. Like if I tell my master, I want to lose 10 pounds, 15 pounds. And he's like, okay, then I'm going to take over that. And he's going to control what I eat. He's going to control how often I work out. He's going to make sure I'm doing it. He's going to put me on the scale. He's going to see how I'm doing. So there's a lot of things that you could include in the contract that are beneficial to your overall health. If I have a master and he smokes, and I say, master, I prefer it when you don't smoke. And he's like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. I probably should stop smoking. Then he might say to me, when you see me smoking more than 3 cigarettes, you have permission to take my pack and throw it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's for the health of him. He agreed to it. So, all these points are agreed upon. It's very predictable, and there's no surprises.
Yeah, it is very much a carnal contract. It is very much a thing of saying, hey, on paper, communicating things that are very much, you know, expectations. If you want your, if I don't care, it can be written down to the T. You have to wear pink. You have to wear blue. You have to wear this. It's all of what your expectations is, and then, you know, like she said, it's front loaded. Another thing, example of contracts, if your master is taking care of your financial needs, there needs to be a stipulation on how that resolves should you end the relationship. All of these things are
Oh, okay. Yeah. No,
all.
that's clear though. That part is clear. It's just for me, my question when it came to the legality pieces of it is if somebody violated the sexual pieces to it, right? They didn't
Mhm.
do something, you know, they didn't suck dick every day of the week. Like that's every day, Monday through Friday. That's what the contract said. And she didn't miss, or she missed 2 days out of a week or whatever. And this Dom was saying, okay, I'm taking you to court because you missed two days every week for a whole month or something like that. I know that sounds probably petty now that I say that out loud, but I mean, like, here's my thing: it's a contract, so any element of that is a legal component. You know, it can legally be challenged, or I'm asking, can it legally be
Well,
challenged?
if let's say that we agree upon that, and then for a whole month she's following the contract, and then now she's not doing that, right? Week one, let's say what, depending on the master, right? She misses 2 days. He's gonna ask, hey, what's going on? She might be, oh, I have my period. I'm on my lady days. I'm not feeling well. He might be like, okay. Now let's say it happens again, and then it happens again, then he's going to realize that this person isn't the submissive that he wants. So then the conversation is going to be like, you know, do you want to be released? Are you not happy? Are you not happy to please your master? And then the person is going to be like, yeah, maybe you know, maybe this isn't exactly what I thought. Or they're going to say, I'm sorry, master, I'll do better. You know, and the conversation happens. So it's not like you don't have a way out. You know, it's not.
Okay, and then to the point, uh, somebody in the comment section was saying that doesn't happen, and I want to ask, okay, so this was Nina, okay, so
It's very
what
rare
doesn't
that
happen?
it's
Okay,
very rare that if someone is playing games, that's why you go through those 90 days of probationary period to really see how serious someone wants to submit. You don't have any sex during, usually a master doesn't even kiss you or touch you really until after the contract is signed. You know,
okay.
you might have hugging, you might have a little hand holding, but you don't go deep diving like the people like, oh, date number 5, we're having sex. You know, masters will make you wait 30, 45 days, 90 days to really see if you're about it. Because once you sign the, you know, you don't want to go through, and you don't want to go through that and then sign a contract and find out the person's just playing games.
Yeah, and then as we wrap this up, let's talk about like things like safe words. Um, I think on the 50 Shades of Grey there were 3: green, yellow, red. It could be even a verbal command like pineapple, apples, or strawberries. But those things can be written
Yeah,
down. And in regards to safety, like I said, it's up to an individual to actually have skill and ability to be it. If I'm hanging you from a 10-foot ceiling, I need to be able to know how to do that. I need to be able to learn roping, proper roping. I need to make sure that my house has proper studs involved. There's a lot that has to go into, say, the dom side to provide the proper scene to be able to actually do that. So when it comes to safety, I think it goes back to Nina's comment. There are a lot of men LARPing as doms just because they think they are dominant in regular intercourse. We're not talking about sex. We're talking about lifestyle. And I think what Miss Polly was saying earlier, there's a difference between lifestyle and there's a difference between a lot of different other things. And when you get into this lifestyle, you have to assume a role and then you have to be the role. Like I can't just wake up one day and say, yeah, I'm a dom today. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. I have to train myself to be the dom, you know, and I have to prepare myself. So Anything you want to add on that,
according to
Lex?
the
You look scared, girl. You
I
look,
I like a dynamic where there are no safe words.
Lord Jesus.
that must mean that there's a lot of communication and there's an understanding of what is acceptable, what isn't up front.
A
So it has
thousand
to be
percent.
probably super detailed.
A
Okay.
1000%.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it one more time.
Lord Jesus.
That is not very safe. Okay. But I like I said.
But the okay, let me say this. My assessment of Miss Lexi, can you put the BDSM down so I can see her name? Because I almost called her Miss
Okay,
Tommy by accident.
if I take it down, then you're like this, and you look like you're hiding behind it.
Okay, well, you can put it away then.
See, you're being
Okay,
dominant again. See, that's that switch. See that.
So
Highlight Nina's last statement.
I was trained by the old guard with masters and had to switch for them to learn everything. Right. Old guards doesn't use safe words. Wow. Okay. Oh, that's another thing.
What is the old guard?
That that too.
I'm new to a lot of this. Many people.
Just go to your Home Depot and look in the rope department and see if a guy got shoes and hands that don't look like he work out, but he's just looking at ropes, But no. And to be honest, you have to have certain types of ropes, but we're not gonna get into that.
So what I was gonna say is, to that point when you said about safe words, and I said from my assessment or assumption, I'll say, of Lexi, she seems very thorough. And for a guy to have to go through a whole thing and do the contract and all that before anything ever happens, and that's the whole point of the 90 days, that's as thorough as I could ever see somebody being. Hell, I know I'm not even that thorough. So I probably would need safe words if I ever decided to get anywhere close to that.
But I think how long have you been in this lifestyle, Lexi?
20 years, since I was about 27 years old.
So, she's, I think there's going to be people who have different, how do I say, levels to it. So, like for me, I wouldn't say, oh, I could take on Lexi. I'll be like, look, Lexi, you probably need a master trainer. Like I would obviously stop. I wouldn't even like entertain it because like you would need a master trainer. Like,
see, I will say this. So I met a guy who was into this lifestyle.
Some subs wait for years to earn their collar. Ooh.
Yeah, when you're getting collared, it's a ceremony. It's a very beautiful ceremony to know that you're going to be completely owned and that you are someone's property. So it is a very it is a beautiful ceremony, and it's something special, and it shouldn't be taken lightly.
So I
Driving up that top note, that cream, pure vanilla.
So I want to say I dealt with somebody who was into this lifestyle. I didn't know what I was getting into, and I didn't get into it. I did get into some stuff, and he had me climbing the walls, and I liked the sexual energy and everything. But when he started to talk about what he was actually into, and I think he talked about this ceremony because he was talking to me about something, and I thought it was role play, and he was like, "Yeah, you should come out to one of those things." And then one of these events, and I'm thinking like, oh, like y'all are role playing or something. And he was like, no, you have to just be into this and da da da. And I think it was that. But I'm so glad that I didn't go to that shit because I would have been mortified.
No, I don't think so. I think you would have been
Oh,
just fine.
no.
I
Because
think you would have been just fine.
chicks in collars and everything. My stupid ass, I would have been up there like, oh yeah, like role playing like Dungeons and Dragons and shit. This is interesting. Everybody's in black, and then
Okay.
somebody come out with a chain around them and all this, all that extra stuff. Then I've been like, oh, this is.
Yeah, when
Go
I've
ahead and
been
go.
collared, something that I like is wearing my collar and a leash whenever we go out to dinner.
Yes.
And watching everybody's reaction around us. And going to really nice restaurants like Mastro's or Dominic's, like really high, Morton's, like really high-end restaurants. And I'm dressed to the nines. I have my beautiful collar and there's a leash and I'm being led by my master to the table.
I think the only way I would do that is if I had a whole mask on my face, because I don't think I could do that without without letting people know I'm doing it to get your reaction. Like I couldn't. I would have to have like that masquerade mask on or something like that, because for me that's a level of freedom that I'm not comfortable with. To be honest, I'm not comfortable with that level of freedom because, yeah.
It's very empowering. It's it definitely has there's an aspect of it that is humiliating, but that's where the turn on comes in too, because it's very empowering. So it has a psychological effect that people are thinking things, and its aspect of it does feel humiliating, but you're pleasing your master and you're doing something for him that probably no other submissive would have probably had the balls to do.
And then
And you look really good doing it. You look like you're in it. You're not like, oh my God. You're like standing in your power and being led.
Looking at being like a cat woman in like a cat suit and all that, that would be sexy as hell.
But you could wear that, girl. You could wear that and walk
I
in
could wear the
in
shit
your
out of a cat suit.
You see?
But not with the neck thing on and the leash, baby. That's going too far for me. But what I will say is that humiliating part of it, I don't know that would be a turn on for me, and I wouldn't feel empowered. Just not the way my mind is set up now. Let me say that.
Now, the way I say it, like I'll say it like this. Would
you do that with your wife? Let me ask you, E. Would you do that with your wife if she was like, put on this?
This is not about me. This is not about my.
No, but I'm just asking. Like.
Once again,
would you feel empowered?
Once again, there's levels to this. So if you're not comfortable with it, don't sign the contract for it. But at the same time, like there's certain situations to where like going to dinner. And there's certain women who's like, oh, what am I going to eat today? What do I want at this menu? No, you don't have to worry about that. I know exactly what I'm putting on in your plate. You don't have to worry about the tip. You don't have to worry about, and I'm talking about gratuity. You don't have to worry about the tip.
I'm sorry. Clearly, my mind is.
But you don't have to worry about the tip. You don't have to worry about gratuity. You don't have to worry about what kind of wine you want to drink, because I know everything. Your only role there is to look good. Your only role is to look good. You don't have to worry about nothing. You don't have to worry about the car ride. You don't have to worry about nothing. You are totally a free person in a free space. That type of release or transfer of power is invigorating to a lot of people.
Are you asking or saying? You lost me at the tip. I'm sorry. I couldn't come back from that, and then
Lord Jesus.
But then
So
I started reading the comments too, so it was a lot of distraction.
Something that happens too in that experience, right, where you start off kind of like a civilian human being and you only see it for the humiliation, and then you know you have to do it, you know you're gonna do it, and you learn to push through that fear of whatever it is that's going on around you. Doesn't fucking matter, and you become fearless.
That's a great point, because I think that I didn't see that element of empowerment where you literally turn off that I don't give a fuck what people think. But I would take that out of that world and put it into, like, you know, other areas, not necessarily the but I'm saying I get it. And I think that's awesome, and that's a great way to frame it. But for me, reading people's comments is throwing me off. For me, that still puts me in the element of humiliation. But I do get what you're saying, and I think that is super empowering. And I think that's a great way to think about it mindset wise.
I think that's what Kanye and his wife Bianca are
I bet
into.
they are. They seem
She
like
wears a lot of stuff. And in fact, Kim Kardashian kind of hinted towards it to where he would say, "Why are you going out in that type of stuff that way?" Like he would dress her. Like, and like I say, you can read between the lines about certain types of people's in their relationships. And like I said, if that's what you get your boots knocked
your
off,
rocks off it,
yeah, your rocks knocked, go for it. If you want to stay vanilla, fine. Stay
or
vanilla.
Neapolitan. I'm Neapolitan. I'm gonna say that.
And you know what else? Look, and what, like, it could be something as simple as let's say that you don't dance, and your master is like, "We're gonna go dance salsa," and you're like, "Oh my god!" And let's say he's had to take lessons in private, and now you're afraid. You're like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna be humiliated."
No, for
let
me,
me just give you this example.
Yeah.
And you're like going through the same process, right? You're like, I don't want to embarrass myself. And you still have to do it, right? You're still gonna do it because you want to please your master. And then you just get on that dance floor and you just like don't give a fuck. And you push through that fearlessness.
Yeah.
It's not about you dancing perfect. It's about you standing in your authenticity and releasing all those societal and domestication, right? And living free through all the emotional ebbs and flow that it took to get you to that moment, to experience that level of freedom with the safety of your master, the security, no judgment, and how you're pleasing him. And you go home and you feel that level of fulfillment, and that level of intimacy is just going to be even greater.
I agree. I think so. I think for me, again, it's just that part of it that's just like a no-go for me. But I'm serious. But I mean, I love that feeling of being free, like being with somebody who you can be yourself around and be freeing and not be so in your head about things, like the sauce idea, and actually is something I'm kind of nervous about. But if I went to practice and learn it and then felt confident in that, that's a thing with the relationship. You're confident enough, you're secure enough to be whatever level you are and get better at it and things like that. So I think there's an awesome dynamic to it in that arena. But just in that space, the collar with the leash, oh no.
Honestly, like after the first time, the second time, the third time, you don't care. You're just like you. I wear it in the supermarket. I wear the collar when we go, anywhere. Really, I don't have a problem with it. I try personally. My negotiation is always about children, so I have those are my hard limits. If you're gonna have me in gear in public, I prefer to be in an environment that is completely adults. So if we go to the supermarket, I might not wear the leash, but I'll wear the collar.
Yeah, and the collar is like a sexy thing in a lot of cases.
Yeah, it looks sexy. You're right. It looks
sexy. Because I would wear one of those collars, but the leash part, baby, we not.
Miss Polly was right. You're vanilla with some sprinkles on you.
Yeah, that's not it. That's not it for me. But
Driving up that top note, that cream, pure vanilla, sweeteners. That's a 10.
I'm tired of this white man keep on
you have
popping
a
up.
fun edge. You have a fun edge, J. Marie. So
Yeah. So let's wrap this up. I think
keep talking.
I think we've discussed everything. I've told Lexi, look, we're gonna be here 2 hours max, and sorry about that, 10 minutes about that. But I think you guys learned anything. Did you learn anything, Jay?
I did. I learned it's still not for me. Still not for me. A lot of details that's not for me, but I do appreciate that Lexi brought a lot of education to it, for real.
Mm-hmm.
All jokes aside, a lot of education to it, a lot of awareness of things that I didn't know. And the 50 Shades of Grey thing is real, like I thought it was. I felt like it was real. Felt like that was a real, somebody wrote from a real perspective.
Yeah, I understand where you can see. Yes, yes,
The book,
I can see where you can say that. But like I said, this is all about having a grown folk conversation. Black people, we don't usually talk about this. Even 50 Shades of Grey is a taboo subject in our community, and I think we don't realize how many people are like that. But anyway, we'll come back next week with another topic. If you enjoyed this conversation, please hit the like button, comment. I want to remind you,
all that. Yeah.
Subscribe. I want to remind you guys, the link is in, I think go to the Dirty Pleasure show. Without her, we don't have this conversation. Please go give her subscription. It's free. She's an awesome individual. Lexi, stay behind stage if you don't mind while we close out, okay? All right, just a second. But yeah, we're gonna close out. Anything you want to say?
I just want to, tell people that, it's really important to have dialogue and communication with your partner, and to become interested in yourself and become interested in self-mastery, so that you can live a life of privilege and live a life of authenticity. And that there's other people out there that share the same lifestyle, same language, same interests. And sometimes you might have to step out of your domesticated, socialized community to find a different level of friends or a different level of family. In the BDSM world, it's like that. It's not something, we're very discreet. Obviously, I'm here on a public platform, but for the most part, you wouldn't really know who around you is into the lifestyle. I can see the behaviors. I can go to the airport and I can see the behaviors. I can tell, like, oh, that couple is into this, So because I've just been in it a long time, but there is a community out there that welcomes you and you can explore, and there isn't an expectation for it to be extreme or debasing all the time, and yeah, you can introduce it into the vanilla, aspects of it. There's a lot of fundamentals, the communication aspect, the playful aspect of it. You could bring those components into a vanilla dynamic. It doesn't have to be, the physicality of it, but yeah, just become interested in yourself. The better you can master yourself, then nobody can throw you off your square, and no one can shake you down. So thank you. And thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you, J. Marie. I'm going to stick around, but I just want to thank this chat and thank Nina and Sin for participating and sharing their own experiences. It always feels nice not to feel alone.
Yeah, I trust me. I know there's a lot more people today. I know. So it's like, it doesn't surprise me. I think it's just a matter of how you cultivate the conversation and have it with mature individuals. But before we go, I want to, since we were heathenistic, let's just cleanse us with under the blood.
Jesus, cover me. Jesus, you will cover me. Say, under the blood. Under the blood. Jesus, you feel cover me. Drum and bass. Listen.
All right, let's get out of here, guys. See y'all
I
later.
cannot.
That was funny.